See, I told you I wouldn't leave you dangling for long. I'm back with a slightly nasal tone due to the residual effects of my winter cold, but I'm ready to get going, and I brought the other half of the puzzle with me. In last week's video, Fighting Inactivity, I was able to paint you a picture of the problem. And in today's video, I'm hoping to bring some clarity to the matter by providing you with practical solutions that can be implemented ASAP or STAT, depending on how urgent the situation is. Before going into what I have in store for you today, I did want to draw your attention to something. Toward the end of last week's video, I said something like, tune in next week for the top 5 defensive strategies in fighting against inactivity. Let's take a pause and rewind. What I should have said was, tune in next week for my top 5 strategies, not the top 5 strategies in fighting against inactivity. The reason for the retraction is that I realize that one size doesn't always fit all. So, while my top 5 have worked pretty well for me when I utilize them, they may not be the natural remedy that cures your particular case of inactivity. Guess you won't know until you try them out. So, here we go with my top 5 defensive strategies for fighting inactivity, in no particular order. Let's start with maneuver 1, work first, play later. My husband occasionally recites these words around our house as a recurring reminder that possessing a strong work ethic is vital to productivity and progress in one's life. For me personally, I have to forcibly dig up this saying when I get into an inactivity rut where I have zero motivation to get tasks accomplished. It's all about mental fortitude here. You're going to have to take ownership of this strategy because it requires you to draw from a strength of inner will deep within to wake up out of the heavy snooze fest you can sometimes find yourself in. But once you wake up ready to engage your mind over matter outlook on life, then you can mentally challenge yourself to get things done while you're in the work zone. Then, once you've conquered some of those pesky tasks, you can feel free to participate in the work incentive program that you've set up for yourself, aka playtime. Note, if you're someone who has challenges with starting tasks or staying on task, it's crucial that you create a work incentive or rewards program to provide yourself with goodies of all varieties, especially of the sweet kind, as positive reinforcement for good behavior. In this case, successfully completing your to-dos. The details of your work incentive program should include the kinds of rewards that will be provided, the frequency in which rewards will be administered. For example, will rewards be given after the completion of each individual task, after the completion of a group of tasks, in the same day the task was completed or on a different day, or at the end of each day or some other time period, no matter the number of tasks completed? Who will administer the rewards? Will you reward yourself through the honor system, or will you assign this responsibility to an accountability partner who will make sure and reward you according to the specifications outlined in your work incentive program? I'll probably devote a little more attention to incentives in its own separate video, but what I'm giving you now is a little backdrop for our future discussion on the topic. I see you, strawberry shortcake with vanilla bean ice cream on the side. Good. Next, moving on to maneuver number 2. Work the undesirables first. How many times have you looked at your daily to-do lists and noticed some tasks that were, well, less desirable than the others? Actually, maybe we'll just call them the undesirables. Ugh. And you decided that you'd bypass them for today, since you have so many other things to do, and just tackle them tomorrow. But then you follow this same pattern 2 or 3 more times, and finally you're at the point where you've put off these dreaded tasks as long as you can. Now you can't do anything but stare them straight in the face. Here's what I've learned during those moments. The undesirables are not going away and have to be dealt with, or else they'll hang on your shoulders like unrelenting weights that won't alleviate their pressure until you've actively removed them. No use in procrastinating as a general rule of thumb. Why not go ahead and address them, preferably first thing before all others? By working the undesirables first, you can have those pressure stressor points they cause removed and out of the way earlier rather than later. And then just think, the rest of your day can be more enjoyable because your mind is not being constantly bombarded by those dreaded tasks that you still have to do but haven't done yet. And you're not depleting your energy reserve before you have enough oomph to complete the more desirable tasks on your list. Let me just say that maneuver number 2 makes it so much easier to work in a more efficient and productive manner. Okay, I see that this video is going to be a little more extensive than I thought at first glance, so I've decided to adopt a technique that a lot of these wealthy major film studios do so very well. Why, yes, they do draw out the continuing saga using the cliffhanger tactic to a T, but they do it in a 3-parter, known as the trilogy. So, here's my attempt today to take a page out of the movie industry's book. This would be considered part 2 with part 3 coming up next week. No, seriously speaking, I want to make sure and give attention to the next 3 strategies in enough detail that provides the clarity I want you to have going forward without wearing out my welcome, because I do understand how valuable your time is. Tell you what, I'll brief you on the remaining strategies now, but then follow up with detailed explanation at our next meeting. It's all about appreciating the process, people, no matter how fast or slow it goes. Here are the last 3. Maneuver number 3. Seek motivational sources to either jumpstart or help sustain activity. Maneuver number 4. Break down tasks into smaller activities to attack. Maneuver number 5. Actively report to the accountability partners that will accompany you on the sidelines of the boxing ring. If you're new to this channel or returning and are interested in taking an educational journey of personal growth with me, one that involves your whole health and of those special people around you, then I would love for you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Liking and sharing is definitely appreciated as well. Thanks for watching.